Yes, hello, good afternoon. This is Daniel Fitzgerald. I'm going to do a very short video. I have another damaging video, a much longer one to upload to YouTube. I'm going to wait on that simply because I need to update today on Saturday the 13th of April. I posted one yesterday. Anyway, I was waiting for a response from this John Doe apparent manufacturer in China who's been emailing me at 2 and 3 in the morning without my pre-knowledge or permission by the seller. And this is what this manufacturer stated, this unknown manufacturer who refuses to identify themselves. They stated that they do not have the spindle and basically do not have the spindle, and they don't have the part they're claiming now. Before they were claiming that they refused to honor the warranty because this lathe here, which I showed you yesterday, was, not defective. So I want to explain in this video what is going on here. You see, I want to make it as clear as I can, very carefully, without mixing up the words or accidentally confusing people, because I'm not very good at videos and my thinking is not very clear at times. I'm a little bit fogged. But you see, and I want to explain this to, prospective victims of Amazon and ASC 365 International out of Toronto regarding the sale of their metal lathes on Amazon, that when you buy a metal lathe from this seller on Amazon, for 30 days, there is an extended warranty by Amazon, which means that you can actually send the product back to the seller if it's defective or has shipping damage on it. Defective meaning defective from the manufacturer, by the way. I want to make that clear. And within that 30-day period, once that 30-day period expires, then essentially Amazon's out of the picture, And the only thing they offer Amazon is a return warranty, and that's it. And you have to file an A to Z claim, and you have to request a return label, which I did not know. I was actually tricked into the return label. Because I was simply told by Amazon that, in the beginning, in order to facilitate an A to Z claim, I have to request a return label, I rejected that on the phone with the woman too, on the suspicion that the seller will find out about the return label and she would start using that as an excuse not to talk to me about the parts issue, which is exactly what happened. I had no knowledge that she would be given the return label or that they would send the seller a message to provide me with a return label. I had no knowledge of that at all, I thought that this return label request was simply between myself and Amazon's A to Z department in order for me to file the claim. But what's ridiculous about it, and what's interesting, is that you don't need to file a claim with the A to Z department to request a return label, right? You don't have to. Which means that when you file an A to Z claim, it's outside of the return label. Because I could call Amazon tomorrow and I could say to them, I ordered this item from you. I'm not happy with it. Please send me a return label. Well, they're not going to turn around and say, well, first of all, Mr. Fitzgerald, you have to apply for an A to Z claim, which means that the A to Z claim is outside of the return label and has nothing to do with it. And on top of that, the A to Z claim has nothing to do with returning the product. You can simply return a product to an Amazon seller or return seller simply because you're not happy with it. I found out that you will only get 80% back if you return it simply because you don't like the color of it, This is a policy of Amazon. So, in fact, my application to the A to Z department had nothing to do with my ability to return this item. It had nothing to do with the return label. So this brings into question as to exactly the nature of the A to Z department, whom, I wasn't receiving their emails. It got so bad, and then I would respond to whatever the few that I did receive in my Gmail, and I would respond to them, okay? And they didn't respond back, okay? Because my iPhone was hacked, all right? And the hacker was cutting off my internet signal every time I sent an email to them, to the A to Z team. That's why I didn't receive any responses. And when I realized this was going on, I contacted Amazon. I told their customer service. I called, I don't know, 50 or 60 of them, asking each one of them to forward a message to the A to Z team on my behalf. They said they did that. And if they did, then the A to Z team was prejudiced of me and did not consider the fact that I had reported to their customer service agents to them that my iPhone was hacked by an outsider, and that at that time I could not do anything about this. I explained that the hacker was actually able to grab my characters of my password for my Gmail, because I kept explaining that the little stars that are supposed to go over your password were right away. As soon as you entered it, a star is supposed to pop up, but the characters of my passwords are popping up for maybe 5 or 6 seconds before the stars actually cover my password. I explained this to Amazon, and my wife and I did everything we could to stop this through Apple. I mean, we went to Apple a zillion times in the United States, technical support, trying to get them to tell their headquarters in California about this going on here by Canada's corrupted government, and their corrupted, dirty police are doing all these things here in my country, and not just to me, but to other targeted people for political reasons. But let's get back to the seller. Now, as I was saying, during the 30-day period, okay, where Amazon's involved with any kind of return or return label or claim to the A to Z department, the seller has an obligation, cannot accept any kind of information from the buyer, me, outside of going through Amazon links to do so, okay? But once the 30 days expires, then the only thing left is the warranty on the lathe, okay? And that's for 6 months. So basically this means that the seller cannot use Amazon's policies as an excuse not to supply warranty parts based on the premise that they cannot look at my YouTube videos because they're bent and have to follow Amazon policies. Now, this John Doe factory who refused to identify themselves, communicating to me, they are using Amazon, which means that they are still trying to use Amazon's policy on the warranty, okay, which they're not allowed to do, as an excuse not to see the defective parts indicated in my videos here on YouTube. So I wanted to indicate this to anyone who, watches my videos. So, first it was, the lathe is not defective. This John Doe manufacturer stated that according to their technical judges, this lathe does not suffer being defective based on quality control problems. Okay, this entity did not ID themselves to me in my account. They did not indicate the name of their company. They did this all secretively, like they don't want to be known. Now, this is where the suspicion comes in, and I want to get into a little more detail on this because I don't need to show you my lathe any further, all the other accessories I bought that cost me, in total $5,000 to $6,000 for all of it. Basically, you need to understand that, as I was trying to say in my video I posted yesterday, it's 30 some odd minutes, I used to import diesel engines from China, and I had a lot of contact by email with Chinese manufacturers in China. And I will tell you right now, this is not the way they operate. That's how I know that this mystery John Doe claiming to be the manufacturer is not the manufacturer. And again, they do not work on weekends. The manufacturing plants in China, the actual manufacturing plants where they make these machines and put them together on the assembly line, they have sales offices, sales managers, they have parts offices, they have engineers, and they have administration, and then they have their employees on the floor of the factory putting these things together for you and me, okay? So historically, when I used to order in diesel engines from China, which was the F170 baby diesel engine. I ordered in total probably about 10 samples from China, from a manufacturer. I also ordered a great big ZX 1100, which was a 20 horse single cylinder marine diesel engine with a manual gearbox, okay? And just as an example. And all through this, you know, I was in contact with the Chinese manufacturers abroad, their sales department, their technical support teams and so on, and their parts departments. And they work together to assist me in any problems I might have with the product upon arrival in Canada once I've cleared it through customs, through my bill of lading, and I've cleared it at the warehouse, and I go pick up my goods, okay? And then I take them to my storage facility. So I'm very well experienced. And of course, you know, Amazon and this nighttime seller, Fly By Night, had no knowledge of my vast experience dealing with Chinese manufacturers. And that's how I know that this mystery John Doe manufacturer sending me communications in my messages on Amazon is not the manufacturer, okay? Generally speaking, manufacturers, when you contact them in China, the first thing you'll note is they have a real problem with English. And I'm telling you this, they got a real issue with the English language. And that's the first way you can tell, because their English is not very good. And there's errors in their spelling, there's errors in their grammar, okay? And that's with every one of them, by the way, okay? Unless it's actually an American company over there, for which there's only a few, and they deal with current high-tech technology and diesel engines when it comes to being involved with Chinese companies over there who are building these high-tech engines for Western companies in NATO states, okay? So number one is the lack of imperfect grammar and spelling and words in the communications from this mystery John Doe in China. That's the first thing I noticed. Second, when a manufacturer contacts you from China about a warranty on a product that they give to a distributor abroad who sells it to you on Amazon, number one, they will introduce themselves. And number two, if they don't agree with you, and they always, by the way, they always ask for videos and photographs. They always ask for that. If the photographs cannot indicate the defects in a machining tool, they do accept videos, okay, without an issue. Or what they will do is they will contact you on Amazon, the manufacturer, and from China, they'll say to you, could you please get our company in Toronto to view your videos, or we will ask them to, and then they can forward them to us, and we'll have our engineer check. That's exactly what they would say, okay? And so that's the number two reason why I know that this John Doe mystery Chinese response in Amazon is not the manufacturer. And the third reason how I know is because they used the statement that their technical judges disagree and state that my lathe does not have a quality defective control problem. And that's the number three, because Chinese manufacturers, when they respond to you, they do not use the term technical judges, they use the term engineers. Always, okay? I mean always. You have to understand something about China. Most of the manufacturers over there that manufacture most of your goods that are on Amazon, for example, they all clone each other in policy. They all clone each other because they have a government standard that they have to follow. They even have key phrases, words, sentences, and paragraphs, and company policy rules that they have to follow in order to get a license to be a company in China by the government of China. So everything they do is cloned. So when one manufacturer contacts you back and the sales rep says to you in very broken English and misspelt words, and the sentences are not formed properly, but you can still get the gist of what they're saying, they will always say to you, I will contact our engineer, and then I will get back to you. This is always what they say. This is every Chinese company in China that's a manufacturer who you contact will say that to you. If you contact them with a technical question on a product or dimensions or tolerances or a manufacturing defect of some kind that you wish to report to them, they will always respond that way. always, all of them. So the fact that what's happening here is this seller in Toronto is using someone in China that's not the manufacturer, whose English, by the way, is perfect. And I find that to be number one. Okay, because if you're actually talking to, as I said again, if you're actually talking to the manufacturer of the WM210V metal lathe in China, their English is no good. It never is. And I'm going to explain to you why. Another reason. Because in China, when you try to contact a Chinese manufacturer over there, and you do contact them, in their computer system, now you got to hear this one, in their computer system, they have a program, okay, because their English is very little, okay? So what this program does is when you send them an email in English, it comes up on their computer screen in English. They can't understand it, okay? So they press a button, and they have a program in their mainframe that automatically translates your email to them to English. And the problem is that particular program that they run is terrible. It doesn't do a very good job. It just gives them enough in English. As a matter of fact, in Chinese, it's even worse for them than it is for you when you receive their written emails, because their emails are typed in Chinese, you see, in their computer back to you. Then their computer, this program they run, converts their Chinese characters as best as it can into English, and then they send it to you. Okay, and so when it shows up on your screen, it's terrible. But you can, basically, you'll get the understanding of what they're saying, basically. On the other hand, some salespeople at Chinese manufacturing companies in China that you contact, some of them can write you in English, but their English is still terrible, and it's worse than the program they use to translate to English. Okay, it's worse. Okay, and I've seen all this. So, that's so this seller got caught with their pants down on this lathe issue. So, what else do I have to tell you? So because of my experience, they got caught, but that doesn't make any difference. They have, under any warranty from Amazon by any seller, they have to provide you your request, the contact information for the manufacturer. This company that's been contacting me is not the manufacturer. And I called Amazon this morning to complain. That's all I did. I didn't bother to get pushy with them, because getting pushy with them just simply doesn't work, okay, at all, period. And I'm going to tell you again, I warn you buyers out there for lathes on Amazon, that their customer service is terrible. They all contradict each other, all of them, okay? You'll have two supervisors who say, okay, we're going to look into this. Like I pointed out already in my videos, two of them said that to me, that they're going to have this investigated by another department not associated with the A to Z team or anywhere else. Then I had customer service agents after that, when I called, telling me, no, that's not the case. There's nothing we can do. There's no investigation. And then I had, a few of their client services people outside of the supervisorial position, the people you first talked to on the phone. Some of them told me, well, there's no options for me on my screen, but supervisors have a vast amount of options that they can use, and I don't know anything about. And so there's a separation there in the power structure of Amazon internally. So when you call a customer service rep on the phone, when you first call them, the customer service rep picks up your call after you've spoken to that stupid AI voicemailing system of theirs, which is stupid in my opinion. They will tell you there's nothing they can do. That's the standard response. But then when you go to a supervisor, the supervisor has more options and is a higher decision-making authority who can actually do something. But in this case, as far as I know, they lied. Two of their supervisors lied to me, stating that there was an investigation on the way. And the last one said to me, wait 5 to 6 days and you'll get a response from the investigation thing. While after that, I call back, and their customer service agents that you first speak to on the phone are telling me, no, there's no investigation. There's nothing we can do. Thank you very much. We wish you the best. Okay. So it's really, there's a contradiction within the Amazon structure. All right. My position is Amazon has a legal responsibility to force the seller to enforce the warranty. I believe that legally is very acceptable, but Amazon disagrees. While their seller, and here's the thing, Amazon knew, Amazon knew that I was getting emails at 2 to 4 in the morning. They're not stupid. Surely they must know that at 2 to 4 in the morning, the seller here in Toronto, Canada, in my time zone, cannot be communicating with me at 2 and 4 in the morning. Why did Amazon allow foreign communications to me within their app? Okay, why did they allow that when they knew that they keep telling me that the warranty's outside of their control and has nothing to do with the restrictive policy on communications between the seller and the buyer pertaining to any kind of documentation in the form of videos or photos that can only be supplied through a link with Amazon. So I repeat this again, not that it'll do any good. So anyway, I'm stuck with this lathe. What can I say? I've checked, and now the seller said The seller said to me this morning, and now I will say again that Chinese manufacturers are closed on weekends. There's no one in the manufacturing plants, their offices, except for maybe maintenance crews on the weekends doing maintenance on their manufacturing machinery and so on. That's it. But they still emailed me at 4 this morning. This morning on Saturday the 13th. Okay, so it was not them. It wasn't them. Okay, and it doesn't matter what I say in my messages. If I counter them and say, well, excuse me, but the manufacturing company's closed on the weekend, so who's emailing me? You see what I'm saying? And the English, as I said, was so perfect. That's another dead giveaway. But the point is they told me that they don't manufacture any such parts, basically, and they don't have this part at all. Well, they're lying, because there's several companies on AliExpress that sell this spindle for this lathe. I mean, they're right there. You just have to look up WM210V headstock spindle on AliExpress, punch that into the search engine, and there's 3 or 4 companies in China that sell the spindle for this lathe. So they're lying. Also, Amazon admitted that the seller had violated the warranty, because Amazon gave me $450 initially for the compound slide and a new tailstock, as I've already indicated. And that's an admission by Amazon that the seller violated the warranty. The sellers seem to get the perception in their communication to me regarding Amazon's giving me this money. They said to me, oh, well, we're not going to help you because Amazon's already refunded you. So they literally cut the whole warranty off, because they took the whole warranty away from me, because Amazon gave me $450 for 2 parts. I've got 2 more that are defective. I've got a defective circuit board and a defective spindle. Okay, so as I've already shown in the videos. So I'm going to upload this. I think that's about it. And, I'll upload this maybe tomorrow. I think I'll do it tomorrow instead of today. And is there anything else? Yeah, I'm getting very small, limited views of my videos, okay? And something's going on there. I also now believe that this might have been politically motivated. Oh, the other thing I need to tell you, very important. When I went into Amazon on Google because I deleted the Amazon app out of my iPhone, because this morning one of the Amazon customer service agents told me that I could write up a complaint on the seller's ad, the one that they have left, okay, on Amazon to sell this lathe. She told me to go. So I went into my Amazon app. I couldn't find the icon on the sales page ad of this seller that the Amazon employee told me to find. So then she said, well, look, are you on a mobile app? I said, yeah, I'm on. I've got the Amazon app in my phone. That's what I'm on. She says, well, it's not appearing on that app. You have to go to Google and look up the regular Amazon on Google, because that's designed, I guess, for desktops or something. I don't know. And go in there and type in your account and your account password and so on, and then go into the ad and you should find it there. So I did do that, and where she said that this was indicated where I could write up a complaint about the lathe. This particular icon within the face of the ad was not there neither. So then I went to write a comment instead in the ad, and by the way, my comments there under international buying, 7x16 metal lathe. You have to type that in the box, 8x16 lathe, excuse me. You type that into the Amazon box, and that takes you to their ad, which is titled INT buying. Okay, INT. And then you can scroll down to comments, and my comment hopefully will be posted. It's several pages long. And I don't know, Amazon might not post it because I've criticized them and accused them of being bigots with the seller and simply using their policies as an excuse to defend the seller, while all of them agreeing with me I had a case blaming the policy. Some of them, I felt, some of the customer service agents, I believed, were in with the seller. There's no doubt about that. Okay, supporting the seller. But anyway, here's the thing. An icon popped up before I started the comment, indicating that Amazon ensures that the buyer comments in the seller's app are true, and the reviews are true, and the buyers putting them there are buyers. This is what Amazon essentially said in this icon before I started the comment. Well, Amazon lied, by the way, about that, because I went into the seller's ad last week on Amazon, and I went down to the bottom to look at people's comments, consumers who had purchased this lathe, and there were 2 or 3 complaints there, and one of the complaints was had similarities compared to my own. Okay, exact similarities minus the spindle problem. Okay, and there were some other complaints there against this seller as well, right in her own ad, right in their ad, and then. A few days later, I went back to the ad to take a photo of those complaints on screen. Amazon removed those complaints, okay, for the seller, and Amazon posted approvals by consumers of this lathe for the seller. That's what Amazon pulled. So this is what I'm saying. Amazon is getting caught removing all the complaints against this seller for their lathe, and only posting the complaints where the consumer loves the lathe and essentially approves of it, with some very minor issues that don't reflect these ones. And again, that's Amazon defending the seller and deceiving consumers. Okay, so I'm warning all of you out there, don't buy this lathe. Okay, so, and I did point this out to Amazon, by the way, like I did mention it to them on the phone, but you can say whatever you want to Amazon on the phone. You can say whatever you want, and nothing you say is going to make any difference. And then they start bullshitting you and telling you, you know, that they're going to do something about it. Okay. Well, I would say 10% to 15% of Amazon employees, if you contact 200 or 300 of them, as I have, about 5 to 10% state to you on the phone, the supervisors, that they're going to investigate it, okay? And then, you know, the other 90%, out of 200 or 300 calls to Amazon I've already made in the last 2 months about this lathe, and that's how many I've made, roughly 10% of Amazon told me they would do something about it, okay, that they're going to look into this warranty issue with this seller, because this seller has violated its agreement with Amazon to sell there by promising consumers a backup warranty when one doesn't exist. I could be wrong here, because the seller asked me for photos. Okay, I did send the seller 2 photos. I did at her request. She never said she didn't receive them. I never received an email she didn't receive them. Then she did see the photo of the tailstock, and she said that the tailstock was within dimension. But here's my feeler gauge right underneath the tailstock on the largest portion of it, the only portion of it that really holds it down on the lathe locked, so that the tailstock doesn't move backwards when the drill bit in the chuck in the tailstock is drilling into hard material in the headstock. Okay, and my tailstock did slide back when I was trying to drill a hole in steps in a piece of stock in my chuck, which was 1018. And I had no problem drilling the holes. There was not too much resistance, just the standard resistance, by the tailstock and the drill bits, a little bit there was no shaking or anything like that going on. And the tailstock moved backwards and it was locked. The other thing I wish to explain is this tailstock does not lock properly because of the fact it's on an angle upwards from the lead screw side of the lathe. Okay, so it did slide backwards a couple times, even though I had it locked, and it's not holding. Like when you lock it down, the lever is not holding it into the locking position. The lever starts to lift up and free itself. That's what happened when I was drilling holes into the 1018. So so I sent them the photo a month or so ago. The two photos that they requested, one showing one of the defects on the compound slide, because the other two defects would not show in the photos. And those defects were that each side of the compound slide on the inside, okay, one side was milled higher than the other. And not only that, one side was milled, the entire side was milled on an angle. One side was not milled on an angle slightly, so that when you lay the compound slide, when you take everything off it, the lead screw and everything, you lay it on a flat glass surface, it rocks kitty corner up and down, which means it's warped, okay? Which means one side was milled on an angle, the other side was not milled on an angle or an angle in the opposite direction, and it warped, okay? That was the reason why I needed a replacement, and including the lead screw from the compound slide. The hole that they milled into the back of the compound slide, which is, I'll show you now because I might as well. I'm going to post this tomorrow. This is the hole I'm talking about, is right there where the lead screw goes in here to the dial plate that's bolted on the back. Right there, you see that gap in there? Okay. What they did on the old one is that they milled a hole that was too big for the tailstock to go in, and the tailstock as a result was moving. I can't grab it because, okay, there we are. It was moving up and down and all around, and there was too much play, and it was causing this dial to you turn it. Okay, and you have the bolt, the nut inside loosened as much as you can without too much play. If you loosen it too much, there's too much play. And you would set the set screws in here for the gib, and no matter what I tried to do, I could not stop the dial here from grabbing and then running into tough spots where it wouldn't turn. Okay, that was the problem. And that's why, the second reason why I sent it back. And the third reason is because, I'm not going to do it that way, is because the threaded rod that goes through here, okay, the tool holder, was bent on an angle that way. So when I put this tool holder down and I tightened and bolted it here, there was a gap where the tool holder was up on an angle that way, okay? Which means my tool in it would cut on a downward angle. And that's the reason why, those are the two main reasons why I needed a new compound slide. I did it because I could have milled it, I guess, with my milling machine, but I didn't want to do that because my milling machine and me charged $60 an hour for milling. And I didn't feel that I needed to correct the manufacturer's issues. A number of other buyers and consumers who buy these lathes have a tendency to accept the fact they're defective. They don't bother going for, new parts, which they should regardless.
they decide that they're going to repair their lathes themselves. And this also has helped some of these corrupted Chinese sellers from further denying warranty parts, because many of you decide that you're going to repair your lathes yourselves. And the manufacturers and some of the corrupted manufacturers and their sellers are seeing you do this, and they're saying, okay, we don't have to, we can for those that want warranty parts who refuse to work on their lathes themselves with the tooling we sell them to make money with, they've decided they're gonna fix the problems themselves, which is also part of the reason why I'm not getting warranty parts, is because of many of you machinists out there with your 7x14s and other lathes decide to do the work yourselves when you're covered by the warranty. Okay, so these Chinese sellers get away with denying parts to me, and that's a smaller percentage of the reason why this seller's pulling this. Okay, my milling machine is not used for self-improvement of a company's defective lathe. Not in my case. Okay, I pay a lot of money for my 4-flute cutters. They cost me money, and the purpose of them is for me to make money, not to repair a lazy Chinese manufacturer who does not want to honor the warranty, because I have a milling machine, okay? And I'm not in that business. Some of you machinists out there are, okay? And some of you trying to repair your lathes do not have a milling machine, and your results of trying to repair your lathe or your saddle or your compound slide are going to be ineffective without a milling machine, okay? Because unfortunately, even with a milling table on a lathe, you're very limited. And it's very difficult to get the accuracy you can get on a milling table, a vertical mill. So I'm not very happy about that. Yet some of you have done this. We all go together back to these Chinese manufacturers together, and we tell them to start performing and to sell us lathes that don't have any sharp edges, any unfinished edges, leftover gunpowder pebbles inside the chuck or underneath the saddle, okay, or inside the tailstock, okay? That's what we need to do. We all need to do that, okay? Otherwise, these Chinese manufacturers are going to keep manufacturing defective lathes on the grounds that you, the buyer, the consumer, are willing to use your time and money. And it takes a long time, to set up an accurate cut in a milling machine. The setup time can exceed the milling that you need to do, okay? And it's not our business, yours or mine, to do their dirty work for them. And we don't get paid for it. And I told this seller this at one point. I told her, look, this was earlier in our conversations. I said to them in Toronto, I said, look, I do not repair your defects with my milling machine. I charge $60 an hour to do accurate work on my milling machine. I do not use my time, my money, and my tooling that I bought from companies in China to repair your intentionally damaged lathes, because you just simply throw them together without a thought, and you don't care about the people you're hurting that you're selling them to. And this is a reason for them again to deny the warranty. I'm sorry, I was getting a little bit angry there. Can you blame me? So in regards to the stale stock, and I've already explained this. Amazon did give me money for the tail stock and the compound slide. I did not give them a cost on them. I gave them an estimate. Unfortunately, I could not give them a quote on the duties and taxes by Canada, because these are not indicated to me in the sales receipt from AliExpress. It's only when FedEx shows up at my door with my object from AliExpress, that's when I find out how much the duties and taxes are, okay? So I did not have enough money to purchase the new tailstock. Had I known about that, okay, I would not have bought that or that. I would have taken the 450 and bought a new spindle if I'd have known first. Without the spindle, you all know, if the chuck goes on to a spindle boss that's been machined by the manufacturer undersized, that's a priority, right? So I guess I better go. Is there anything else before I hang up here? Oh yeah, and I also bought these two items too. See,
Those are for my dial indicators, and they're I don't know, one of them was $30 and the other one was $40, I think. So I got two of those. So so what do I do? There's nothing I can do, at least right now. My wife is telling me simply to buy a new lathe. If I save up for a year, in a year and a half, I probably will be able to swing a 7x14. I don't want another 7x14. I was thinking about it because I have the chucks. I have a 4-jaw independent chuck for a 7x14. I've got a 3-jaw chuck. My 7x14 was a shitty lathe. Okay, it was used, but I'm going to tell you something. The spindle was right on, and the chucks were right on. I mean, they were right on the money. The tail stocks on the 7x14s are junk. I mean junk. Even, you ever seen Ozzy Shed? Look him up. He's in Australia. He bought a 7x14. He took the whole thing apart. He worked on it for a couple of months. He's the guy who successfully turned his drill press into a milling machine. And what he did with the 7x14 is he, with the terrible tailstock, he ended up buying a steel plate, and for the foot, because frankly, the 7x14 tailstock foot is too small, and the plate, and the same with this one, the metal 3/16 thick plates that bind them to the bed. These plates are too small. This one here is going to need a new plate, and I'm going to make a new plate for this one, and the new plate. See, here's the plate that's on it right now. Now I don't mind doing that. I don't mind making a new plate for it. I don't request a warranty because you can't. This is the way they come from the factory. The plate does work. See, the lever's not working because the lathe is on it. It's on an angle, but this is the plate they come with, and this is typical. The 7x14 comes with that plate. Okay, it's I don't know. Let's see. Where's my ruler? One of my rulers. Excuse me. I've got a little guy, but I don't know if I've hung it up. Well, I've got this. This will work. I got a little 6-inch square. So, I'll show you. Let's see. I just need to, damn thing, I should just take it apart anyway. I need to clean it. I'm going to try and fix this one, but I'm still going to order another one from AliExpress eventually. I'm still going to fix this one. I don't have a choice really, but I'm still going to order another one, as I said, from AliExpress, another tailstock for this to replace this one. So here it is, right? You can see that this is about what 1 7/8 or something like that. I can't see. I can't see that very good. It's okay. It's 1 and 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 6/8 or something like that. Okay, so it's about just over 1.5. Yeah, just over 1.5. Okay, so here's the thing. This plate, okay, it's too small. If you really want your tailstock to really hold with the kind of power that's actually required, this piece is really inefficient. You need to have one that's the length of the tailstock, okay? The complete length from here to here, that thick, the same thickness, because when you tighten it up, it's much stronger than this little one, okay? I'm not kidding, and it does make a difference, trust me. Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that with this thing. When I get the new tailstock, I'll try and, once I have the new tailstock, what I can do is with this tailstock here, I can try and mill the groove. I'll show you the tools I bought to do that. I just won't chance it with this one. In order to level the tailstock, I want a new one, just in case I mess this one up when I mill it. And that's another reason why I'm getting a new tailstock. Okay, just so you know, because I might mess this up. And I'll show you what I got. Where are they? Little things. Here they are. I'll just show you them. What I bought at Amazon. They're really cheap. They're HSS. I mean, they're not carbon inserts or anything like that. They're HSS. These are 3 of them. I don't know where the other ones are. They're around somewhere. But this is what I bought. I bought these. Okay, these are what they look like. I think it's this one here is the one I need. It's either this one for the groove. They're both at a 45-degree angle. It's either this one or it's this one, that one. I'm not sure which one it is, but one of these. I've got two more, but it'll do this groove. They're really cheap. They're like 22 bucks. So for like a one-shot deal, but these are really good because these really wear out fast if you use them for 1018 steel. But for you know, for machining cast iron lathe parts, they're great because they're HSS and they don't wear out quite as fast on cast iron as they do on steel. So I got those, but I don't want to take the chance to mill the groove in here so that this sits flat. Plus, the other problem is that, okay, when I do mill it so that this entire section is sitting on the bed here, the other problem is when I do that, I'm also lowering the headstock down, which is going to take it out of alignment with the chuck, which means that the headstock, it has an adjustment here to move it either that way or this way. So when I drop it, when I mill this, okay, it's down, I'm going to have to probably move it in this direction a little bit, and I'm also probably going to have to shim it because when I drop it down, it's going to lose some height as well and will not line up with the chuck. Okay, so I will do all this. You know, eventually, look, folks, eventually I'll have a spindle. You know, Amazon is being ridiculous about defending me on this because, you know, in 4 years, excluding the $12,000 I spent in 2 months in January, February, or December, January, excuse me, and part of February. You know, they want to give me up as a customer for, I would say, 500. I'd say for 600 bucks, 700 bucks. They want to give me up as a customer. They're willing to accept me closing my account. And, you know, if that were the case, in the year of 2024, ending in the year of 2024 in December, I would have probably ordered from them nothing to do necessarily with my lathe or other accessories for the lathe, maybe things for my wife, or I also do model boat work. I've, you know, several big model boats in my room. I've got that one, which is a tugboat, which is 8 feet long, which I built from scratch. I've got a Coast Guard boat over there that's 5 feet long, and I got a big fiberglass job up there, and I got one there and one underneath that plastic there that's already finished. It's a little boat. So I do radio control stuff, and I've got, you know, radio control, 1/6 channel, 1/10 channel. I've got a mini wooden table saw, and then I bought this table saw here from Amazon. It cost me 400 bucks. It's a Ryobi, and this one here is going to be used to finish that boat, to cut planks for that boat. This one needs to be double planked, and I got another boat, a set of plans on the wall there, and I've got an 8-foot set of plans for a Chris Craft Constellation, which I want to build. And these two gas engines here, there, are for my Chris Craft Constellation, and the plans for that are here. And I can show something on Amazon because I am a professional boat builder. I've owned several real boats, including a Trojan 31, and this is just to give you an idea of my Chris Craft. Okay, and the best way to do this, if you're interested, some of you, let me say, need some weight on it. I'll use my 1-2-3 block. I'll make all the shafts myself. I'll make all the shafts, struts, stuffing boxes myself with my milling machine. So I'll put my foot on to give you an idea. I have a size 12 foot, so just to give you an idea, there's my foot, and I'm size 12, and there's my Chris Craft, the plants, okay? And this is what I do, really. It's all partially hobby and partially making money. I was going to manufacture here out of aluminum, which I can still do. I was going to manufacture
an aluminum lower end for a marine outboard based on a 35 to 50 cc two-stroke gas engine. I'm not into these electric brushless motors and batteries. Only for my tugboat up there, and that one will have a electric motor in it to start with, but I have a steam engine that I want to build and sell, several of them, on eBay. I'll probably build, I was going to build 3 or 4 of them at a time. As a matter of fact, I already started the cylinders on my 7x14, but I can't bore the cylinders for them on this thing until I have an accurate spindle, okay, and a tailstock. So the steam engines, one of them I was going to build 4 at the same time. I've got the blueprints. I also have blueprints for a mini gas engine. Where are they? Are they here? Oh, I can't remember. Are they over here? Got a package. Where have I got them? I don't know what I did with the damn things. They're somewhere. Where are they? No. Where did I put them? They're here somewhere anyway. I got plans for a mini 4-cylinder gas engine, with a wet sump, working pistons, valves, springs, camshaft, a mini car engine with spark plugs and distributor. Spark plugs are handmade by the builder. I've got the plans from him for $50. Oh, here they are. I'll show them to you. And for this end, he built his on the exact same milling machine that I have, and a lathe very similar to my own. I suspect he has a 7x14, and he may have 2 lathes and even a big one. But this is the engine here. This is it. I can't show you all the plans because there's a copyright. I can show you a little bit, but this is the engine. And when I put my index finger on, I'll give you an idea of the size. The plans are 1:1. So the block is 3.5 inches long. These are 1:1. The plans are 1:1. Okay. So, but I've decided to go 1.5 times the size of the plan. So the engine won't be 3.5 inches long. The block, it'll be 3.5. It'll have, I think, just off the top of my head, 1 3/4 inches longer and wider. And the reason why I'm going to enlarge it in size a little bit is because I saw the size of the pistons in his hands and the rods, which are made out of aluminum, and I'm no good with tiny parts. I'm just absolutely not. You should see me with mini bolts. They just fall out of my hands, and I'm just not into the reason why he built it so small is because it's cheaper. I was going to double the size. The block would be 6 inches by, I don't know, 3.5 inches wide or something, all the way around, like 3.5 inches squared and 6 inches long, is because 2 6-inch blocks of that diameter with a little extra on them to mill all sides a little bit for a nice finish. It's $80 for just 2 pieces. Okay, and that's the cheapest I could find here. So I decided to go to 1.5 times the size because the aluminum's far cheaper. It probably cost me $25 for each piece, and it's easier to find. So, so this requires some accuracy. The gas engine requires a lot more accuracy than a steam engine. Okay, steam engines, you can get away with being out by up to, some guys say 2,000. I don't agree with that. 2,000 is quite a bit. Maybe 1,000. I think 1,000 is 1,000, maybe 1,200. You can get away with being out on steam engines, but not on some parts on a steam engines, like the crankshaft journal and the con rod big end and smaller end. You have to be right on with those. Just slightly something less than a press fit. And you need an accurate lathe for that. You need an accurate spindle, okay, and tailstock. And those things you can customize yourself to that kind. Like the tailstock, you can customize to the accuracy you want through using your milling machine and making some changes and bringing it into the accuracy you want with the spindle. The compound slide, the only thing with the compound slide is you got to ensure that the compound slide is at a 90-degree angle to the face of the spindle. Okay, when you're doing crankshafts, the compound slide cannot be on an angle and it cannot move. Okay, and that's a problem with this compound slide. It moves when you loosen off the razor block here. The hole in the razor block is either too big for the little round stud sticking out of the cross slide spindle circle, okay, that it's bolted into, and I pointed that out in other videos. So I don't have any choice, because I cannot make the hole in the razor block underneath the center hole, okay, that it slides on to tilt the entire complex here on an angle when you want to do angles, or you want to do an MT2 or whatever, or MT3 or whatever you're doing. I can't, they've bored the hole in the razor block too big. So the only option I have is to make a whole new pin and disc underneath it in the cross slide, make a whole new one, and I can do that with my lathe and my milling machine. So, but without an accurate spindle, you can't turn, an exact circle. And 2500ths, which this chuck of mine is out because of the spindle boss, means I cannot, I have to make loose fitting circular parts that are loose fitting, that can only go into a hole that's over 2500ths, okay, out, okay. That's not going to work for a steam engine, cylinder or piston. Okay, that's just not going to that's not going to work. I have oval shaped cylinders. So there you go. So this, I guess, is the longest video today. Now I want to point something else in my video, and then I'll stop. Is this here? This is 1018. Okay, it's really nice, actually. It's really nice stuff. And I want to show you the finish that this lathe gave it. Look at that finish. Now, mind you, I did, after I test cut it, almost 2 months ago now, I didn't get that finish. Okay, there was a lot more lines in it, but what I did was I took some 400 grit wet and dry emery cloth, or actually, no, I think it's 300 that I have. Couldn't find 400. And I ran it in the spindle of the chuck and at about 400 RPM and for about 5 minutes with 300 wet and dry, and it gave me this finish. The real finish that it does give without that is here. This is the original finish without any wet and dry emery cloth to smoothen out the cuts in it, or the metal. Actually, that's metal protruding off of it, lines, and so this is what I got when I did it with emery cloth, and that's really nice. Now this 1018, you can see how round it is. Now, can you tell that it's 2500ths out? In other words, it's actually egg-shaped, but as you can see, you just can't tell. You can tell when it's in the chuck and it's spinning. Okay, you can tell it's out. Now, here's the thing. You need to understand something else. Okay, when this end was showing run out, this end here, I did not mill this end. See, because here's the thing. The knowledge here is this. When you stick this into a chuck and you mill this end, like my thumb's on, and then you turn it around and stick the milled end in the chuck and then mill this end, the minute you do that, and then when you're finished milling this side, and then you put this side into the chuck and turn this side's going to be out. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? This side will be out. This is a rule. So I want you to know that that the run out on this side showed after I milled it, before I ever touched this side. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. Okay, so what I'm saying is that the run out here is not caused because
I had turned them around and milled this side. And for some of you machinists out there, you'll understand what I'm talking about, while some of the novices really won't. I've got about 3 years of experience in machining now, with my 7x14 and also my milling machine. So, I mean, I've learned a lot. I still make stupid mistakes. You know, sometimes I drop things. I dropped one of my indicators the other day by accident. Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Indicators can actually take a lot without losing their accuracy. You'd be surprised. They can really take, falling on the floor. My floor is pretty soft. It's wood. So, but if you have a concrete garage, concrete floored garage, and you start dropping dial indicators, you're going to have a problem. What I find to be most inaccurate is the vernier digital calipers, especially the ones that come from China. I couldn't afford a MIDI yo-yo, or some other high-end American one, Fowler, for example. I couldn't afford those. They're just too expensive. I think it's $375 for a 200 millimeter Fowler digital vernier caliper. And the same with I was looking at digital outside micrometers, and I think I was looking at a MIDI yo-yo or a Fowler. It might have been both on Amazon, $400. Very, very expensive, and I think a lot of us can't afford it. And, when you start milling and you're making money, and you can build, 3 or 4 nice steam engines every 2 or 3, 4 months, and sell them for $2-3 grand a piece on Amazon or eBay, and you're making good money doing that, and you have 4 of them, that's translates into $8 grand. Then, as a machinist, you can afford some of these optional expensive measuring tools that don't have the inaccuracy of some of the Chinese ones. But when you're starting at the bottom, you're always going to be beginning with Chinese equipment. And for the most part, it's, most of it's acceptable to make steam engines and even gas engines, but noting that you have to check for the milled surfaces of Chinese accessories. And there's some accessories that are made in China for milling machines and lathes, which are very, very accurate, and they're very accurate, And this is, in one case, where are they? Damn things.
Behind here? Yeah, they're right here.
Here we are. These are. This is a precision parallel set that I bought from AccuSize. Why did I buy them? Well, actually, it's Blondie hacks. Here they are. Here's my my parallels. Okay, now these are made in China, and they're perfect. You can use them for anything. I mean, the Chinese cannot make an error on these. Well, I guess they could, but they certainly didn't where these are concerned. And these were expensive as well. They cost me on Amazon $60 to $70 plus tax and shipping. $100. Something like that. Actually, I shouldn't put them down there. I should put them maybe over here. I'll just put them on the lathe. The lathe's not being used right now. As far as leveling my lathe goes, I did buy a spirit level. Now, from side to side, from here to here, it's the same all the way down. But directionally, up and down, it's not, and that doesn't matter. What matters is not getting any twist on this end compared to the headstock end. So it is on the exact same plane. Again, it's not level. It's not level this way or that way, but it's both ends are on it's within the bubble, okay? But to one end of the bubble on my spirit level. So it's a little out, but it's still within the bubble from here to here. But I did have to shim, but it didn't shim underneath the feet of the lathe at either end. I shimmed underneath this plate here. Because even like if the shims are really thin and your floor and your bench are not out that much, if you shim underneath the feet of the lathe with very thin shims, say 0.005 of a millimeter or something like that, then you won't get any rocking. Okay, Now, no, bear in mind this lathe, unlike its baby brother, the 7x14, this lathe only has one mounting hole at this end and one mounting hole at this end, and it's under there, which is a pain to get at. Whereas the 7x14 has a wider foot, and it's got two holes on either side, along with the underneath the head.